Hey guys, this is John Scarborough. Wanted to make a little video out here again at this creek. Figured this is a good time to show what's really going on after a long, hard rain. It's been raining for a couple days, and then we got a big shower after all the rain that we had. And I just wanted to show this creek just how much it fills up, and kind of explain the reasoning behind some of the things that I talk about, like leaving grass on the edges of your banks like this right here. You can see that grass is underwater. If this stayed this high, that grass would die. But because this only happens in the course of, I don't know, a few hours, I mean, by tomorrow, if it stops raining, by tomorrow this will be completely gone. You won't see all this water again. Then, because of that, that grass is able to stay alive, okay? And you can see all that grass out in there. That's able to hold that soil together, okay? And all of this over here, you can tell by looking at this grass here, it's laid over, because the water was even higher. It was all the way up, okay? All of this grass helped hold that in. But more than that, it's the angle of the creek here. It's not steep. It's nicely sloped back at this portion here, and that allows the sunlight to get on there and allows the grass to grow quite well. But also, I wanted to show some of these things over here. Look at this water right here, okay? Now, you look over there, and that's water flowing, okay? Now, you look back over here on the edges, and what's that water doing? That water is boiling. Practically boiling is what it's doing. It's bubbling and rolling, and it's creating a circular motion down underneath there, because it's a stopped point, okay? And then you go on down there and it continues to flow, okay? But then you get these dead zones right in here. And what that does is, when you have a straight dropped off bank, okay, then that circling action down there, that abrupt action, is what washes your walls out and what tears your creeks out and continues to get wider and wider and wider and wider and wider, okay? But if you have sloped off walls like this that are covered in grass, then that boiling action, if it does happen, all it does is rub up against this brush right here, okay? And it doesn't rip it out. That holds your soil in there. If it's bare soil, it's going to rip out, okay? So that's what you want in a creek like this, in any kinds of places, all right? You want to have grass growing all along the bank, but you want to have the banks as sloped off as you can get them. No straight drops, if you can help it, okay? So that's why we talk about in these videos so much. Like this right here, you can see that that's a complete dead zone. That's just completely dead. That water is not hardly moving at all, but all that water's flowing, okay? So right here, it's not that big of a problem, okay? But if you move around in this creek, like back over there where I was talking about a minute ago, those are problems. That's where the water starts to circle and starts to create a problem and rip the creek walls out, okay? Like in here. Don't think you can see past those bushes in there, but you can kind of see in there. I don't know if you can or not. Let me try to get over here without tripping into the creek there. But you can see that, the way that's nearly flowing backward there, okay? You see the direction of the flow there. You look over here, and it's nearly flowing backward. It's just bubbling and going on, okay? This creek right here, this has actually got some good growth on it, of moss and things like that. Okay, generally in most cases that I've seen, moss will not withstand the amount of water that comes through here at one time. Like you can tell on that creek over there, it started to grow some moss for a while, but now you can see a big rain and it drops it all the way back out. Now if that was a nice sloped off, let me view my camera back out. If that was a nice sloped off angle there, instead of being straight up and down, then that water, that would be able to support grass along that wall, and it wouldn't just rip out when the water came in. So like you can see right over there, I don't know how well you can tell that, but that is where the water, when it was higher, it was boiling in there and just circulating, okay? And it just ripped it right out of there, ripped that wall right out, okay? So you want to try to get your cows, you want to try to make your cows graze in a certain way where they'll knock those slopes off and then get them back off of it. Get them off of it long enough to let it recover, okay? And then you can also use hay, like I've talked about before. Putting hay out on it, feeding them on it so that they knock those slopes down, okay? So anyway, guys, I just wanted to show this quick video here. I'm not trying to knock moss or knock tree roots or anything like that. These places right here, like this over here, this works. This has worked quite well, okay? This holds the ground together. But there's not a huge amount of water that flows past here, but you can see where the water does flow through. It has not worked so well, okay? So anyway, I just wanted to point those videos out. Point these points out, like show you some of the things that are going on here. And I mean, just be mindful of that. Think about where you're unrolling your hay. Think about the way you're grazing your cows, okay? And most importantly, more important than any of these things is let them be on a piece of property. Let them be in a pasture or in a paddock, you know, for a time, and then take them back off and let it recover for a long period of time, okay? Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to me ramble on once again. I just wanted to show y'all another little example of all this. Don't forget to subscribe for more helpful videos.